Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Music loud with me.
The Ferrari 296 GTB is the latest and greatest from Ferrari, boasting a 0 to 60 miles per hour acceleration of 2.9 seconds and a top speed of 225 miles per hour. With a price tag of $380,000, ownership is reserved for the extremely wealthy. So when Fortnite released this beauty, my natural thought was to fill our garage with 8 of them. Lonewolf Lair is clearly the most elegant of the POIs, so it made total sense to build out our collection there. But it soon became apparent this would be easier said than done. While there are 8 whiplashes in close proximity to the POI, it's very central on the map. And not only are we contending with other players, but it turns out it's in the direct flight path of the Star Destroyers. We got off to a good start, managing to collect 5 Ferraris with little interference, but mobility was a hindrance. Each time I dropped one off at Lonewolf Lair, I had to go out in search of more, and often just on foot. This meant the storm was always knocking on our door before we could get the remaining 3. And just to add to the troubles, the Star Destroyer was always looming above us. We got lucky on one occasion, but not so much on the other occasions. To address the mobility issue and time delay, I went back to Fortnite GG and noticed that Crime City had 6 whiplashes in close proximity. I decided it would be better to start the challenge from that POI instead, but despite the logic, it resulted in the same outcome. Either the storm got us or we played dice with the Star Destroyer. On a positive note, nobody had actually stolen one of our treasures while we were away or managed to send me back to the lobby. After failing 9 times and no doubt getting some raised eyebrows from watching players, I decided it would be a novel idea to switch our garage location from Lonewolf Lair to Crime City. There's already 6 whiplashes in close proximity and an abandoned car garage that we could remodel to cater for our Ferrari collection. This too had its challenges, this time with real players. The first attempt started well. We managed to collect and garage 5 Ferraris without any interruptions and renovate the old garage to accommodate 8 Ferraris in total. The Star Destroyer was a concern once again, but we managed to evade the cannons this time and continue our pursuit of the remaining 3. We were just in the process of parking number 7 when an uneasy moment occurred. We got marked by the scout Mandalorian. This meant a real player was about and it presented a crossroad. Do I ignore them and try to park the car, or fight and hope they don't wreck number 7? As they engaged me, the decision was basically made for us. I dealt with the Mandalorian swiftly, but I couldn't locate the player in the end, so I figured they had dipped, and I went on with trying to grab number 8, the final car for the collection. We had to go deep in the storm for the last one, and when we returned, we were once again met by a real player, this time with Chewbacca. I was starting to feel a bit left out, being the only player in this game without an NPC. Before I had a chance to consider my options, the worst thing imaginable happened. They stole our baby. I truly felt like a parent running helplessly after the kidnapper. And worse still, a desperate parent when I started to shoot at them as they disappeared into the distance. I considered chasing after them, but I felt like it was too late. We were so close to meeting our challenge. However, there was no point in fighting the storm on this one, so I packed it in for one more go. This time we were on a mission. We knew what to do and how to execute on it. We were dialed in, the garage was cleared immediately, and players dealt with swiftly. No messing around. One car went in, then another, and another. Before too long, we had 5 of the 8 spaces filled. Then came the Star Destroyer, but this time we were well clear from it. Number 6 went in, we were still in zone and crushing the challenge. We took a little while to find number 7, and the storm was now starting to move in on us. We needed to act fast as I had no white heels and our luxury garage was out of zone now. Ironically, we had to venture back to the place this all started from, Lonewolf Lair, and there were a few obstacles in the way, like TIE fighters. Fortunately, we managed to stay undetected. However, we were in the exact predicament I actually wanted to avoid all along, in the storm and no white heels. It was a race against the storm for the finale. The all-engulfing, never-satiated storm versus the fast and furious Ferrari 296 GTB. arrived at the garage in record time. After 12 failed attempts, 53 parked Ferraris, and no doubt more than a few onlooking players shaking their heads at this idiot collecting Ferraris instead of playing the actual game, it was time to park the final Ferrari in our luxury garage and revel in the pure sense of achievement. Maybe one day we can do this outside of a video game. Until then, we'll just have to continue living reality inside the Matrix.